Welcome to our deep dive. Today, we're looking at India and a really big potential shift happening in how people connect to the internet. Just picture it. A village high in the Himalayas, maybe a farming community miles from anywhere, basically cut off from the digital world. It's hard to imagine sometimes. No easy way to do online classes, forget telemedicine, even simple digital payments are a struggle. That's still the reality for millions. But something pretty groundbreaking is happening. Elon Musk, Starlink, you've probably heard of it well, it seems to have finally received the crucial green signal to operate in India. So we're going to dig into what this actually means, not just the headlines, but the real world impact for people across the country.
Yeah, and that green signal is actually a very specific, very important step. It's not just a general nod. Starlink, which is, part of SpaceX, has officially been granted what's called a Global Mobile Personal Communication by Satellite license, a GMPCS license. And what that means is it's the specific regulatory approval they need to offer satellite communication services directly to consumers. We're talking voice, high-speed data, the works, all beamed down from satellites right across India. It really paves the way for them to start rolling out operations.
Okay, direct to consumer. That sounds different. For most of us listening, we're used to fiber optic cables, maybe mobile data from a tower. How different is Starlink's tech, really? And why can it reach places others haven't?
It's fundamentally different because it basically skips all the ground infrastructure, or most of it. Regular broadband needs those physical cables buried in the ground or strung up on poles. Starlink uses this huge network, a constellation of satellites. But crucially, they're in low Earth orbit, LEO, much closer to us than the old geostationary satellites used for, say, satellite TV. These LEO satellites beam the internet signal straight down to a small dish, like a pizza box-sized dish, that you install at your home or business. And because they're closer, that signal travel time, the latency is dramatically reduced. That annoying lag you get, much, much less of it. So things like video calls, online gaming, remote work, even potentially things like remote surgery become properly feasible, even if you're miles from the nearest town.
Right, low latency. That's key for real-time stuff. And this is where the really huge impact for India comes in, isn't it? It's more than just faster Netflix streams for a few.
Oh, absolutely, much more. If you think about the bigger picture, it's potentially a massive leap forward in closing India's digital divide. That gap between connected cities and disconnected rural areas, think about those remote villages where laying fiber is just eye-wateringly expensive. Or the mountains, the really tough terrain in the Himalayas or Northeast, where infrastructure struggles. Starlink can, in theory, deliver high-speed internet there almost immediately, once it's operational, obviously. This is like a turbo boost for the whole digital India vision. It could genuinely enable, telemedicine consultations in remote clinics, proper online education for kids who currently have no access, small businesses in isolated areas getting onto e-commerce platforms. It's really about potentially bringing millions of people fully into the digital economy, maybe for the first time.
That seems incredible, especially the speed at which it could potentially reach those areas. But
Yeah.
let's get practical. What about the cost? That's always the big question, right? Especially in these underserved regions.
You're absolutely right to ask. It's crucial. Based on what we're seeing and estimating now, the initial kit, that dish, and the router and bits, looks like it'll be around 33,000 rupees.
Yeah.
And then the monthly subscription is expected to be roughly 3,000 rupees.
Okay, so 33,000 upfront and 3,000 a month.
Yeah. Now, they might have introductory offers. We don't know yet. But you have to frame that cost, like you said. For many households in rural India where incomes can be much lower, that is, well, it's a significant amount. It's definitely a premium service, at least initially.
Okay, that's a really important point. If the cost is that high, is this really the silver bullet for universal access? Or, could it accidentally create a new kind of digital divide, high speed for those who can afford it and others still left behind?
That is the critical question, isn't it? And it's a valid concern. Initially, yes, it probably will cater more to maybe businesses, government services in remote areas, or households that can afford that premium price point. But technology often gets cheaper over time. As they scale up production, as competition maybe responds, prices could come down. Plus, just having an option, even a premium one, in places where there was no option before, that can sometimes spur innovation from existing players too. You never know. As for when, if all the final approvals line up, particularly from the Department of Telecommunications, we could potentially see commercial services starting, maybe late 2025, possibly early 2026. It's still a bit of a wait and see. But globally, Starlink's growing fast. They already have, over 2.7 million users? And everyone expects India to be a massive market for them, huge potential demand there.
So, summing up then, Starlink's arrival, this green signal, it really does hold immense potential. Transforming connectivity, especially for those hard-to-reach places in India, it feels like a really significant step towards maybe finally achieving truly widespread internet access, changing lives and local economies.
It absolutely could be a transformative moment, yeah. A whole new chapter potentially opening up in India's digital journey. But as we stand here looking at this new digital frontier opening up, it does leave us with a big question, doesn't it, for you to think about. Will Starlink actually be the thing that finally ends India's long struggle with patchy internet? Or are there still more hurdles like cost and adoption on that road to full digital inclusion for everyone? It's definitely something worth pondering as this all starts to unfold.